What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. The patch 6.3 notes are out, and with a bunch of direct changes to champions and other things, come a bunch of hidden or indirect changes as a result. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you don't enjoy the video, please click the dislike, and if this video hits, let's say 12,000 ratings, I'll make another one of these for the next patch. As well, I've partnered with ProGuides.com for the editing on this video. I've personally been using them to start learning Twisted Fate, and they have a free trial that gets you full access, so you can check it out and decide for yourself if you like it or not. Anyways, let's get started. Starting with the most obvious indirect buff, and it's to any burst-oriented attack damage champions. The Duskblade of DRAKTHARR is being released on this patch in the exact state that I played around with it on the PBE, and if you didn't get a chance to catch that video, the item is pretty insane and brings a lot of power to anyone who can make good use of it. Traditional AD assassins like Talon and Zed get a huge leg up from this item, but we can also expect to see a lot of off-meta champions that can kind of fit the assassin playstyle rise up. Champions with much more utility like Jarvan and Pantheon, who previously might not have been the best champions to play as an assassin, really get a huge step up because a lot of their previous problems stemmed from just not having enough damage in their burst combos to play as if they were an assassin. So it was better to just play them as a pure tank or as an off tank. Well, now Duskblade of DRAKTHARR can single-handedly account for that missing damage, and meanwhile the utility and crowd control those champions bring to the table gives them a massive advantage over the traditional assassins like Zed and Talon, who although have a lot of mobility, lack meaningful crowd control to pick off a target, or to maybe stop a support from outplaying you. Burst damage is an incredibly powerful mechanic for carrying games, and Duskblade of DRAKTHARR brings such a ridiculous amount of damage to those kinds of champions that in combination with their utility, it's going to make them incredibly relevant, potentially even better options than the traditional assassins without crowd control, who might bring more damage to a fight. Either way, this item is going to be a really big deal and is almost certainly going to completely shape the entire meta for this specific patch, and I personally am predicting a nerf in patch 6.4 for the Duskblade. The next group of champions that received an indirect buff, again, is a pretty big group, and it's essentially just champions that have reliable utility to make use of. Utility-based supports like Janna and Lulu are fantastic counters to assassins and are able to use their crowd control and kiting ability to outplay or counterplay a champion who built Duskblade of DRAKTHARR and is trying to assassinate someone on their team. The kiting ability goes a long way, and if you use your mechanics correctly, you can often completely shut down the entire combo of an assassin. As well, for support in general, Exhaust gets a huge step up now. Although Ignite was the common summoner spell to take on supports, Exhaust is now almost certainly going to be a must-have for every team, since you might be facing as much as 2 or even 3 assassin-esque champions every game, and Exhaust is a huge factor that you can use to not only counterplay an assassin, but do so with ease. Unlike a Janna Tornado or Ultimate that often takes a lot of mechanical skill to use to their maximum effectiveness, giving a lot of outplay potential for the hypermobile kit of an assassin, Exhaust is a very simple point-and-click spell, so it's especially good if you find that your mechanical ability isn't strong enough to reliably outplay an assassin champion, making it all the more worthy of a pickup on this patch when playing support or facing an assassin in lane. As well, we have utility-based tanks. There's a lot of tanks that have fairly underrated tools for countering assassins in their kits. Champions like Gragas with his crowd control, Shen with his W, Poppy with her E, and others bring a lot of underrated tools to the table when it comes to stopping an assassin from doing its job and protecting your team. And of course, on the similar notion, we also have utility mages, so champions like Orianna, maybe Lissandra, who do a great job of stopping an assassin in their tracks, but also beating them in lane, ensuring that they don't get the snowball rolling early, and with an early Zhonya's, it becomes almost impossible for an assassin to kill you with that kind of kit. And speaking of champions who can stop assassins, we also have to look at the champions who give invulnerability to their teammates as an option, specifically Kayle, Kindred, Bard, Tahm Kench, Zilean, and I guess Yorick, kind of. On the topic of outplaying or counterplaying assassins, there isn't really a better way to do it other than just being able to make your teammate literally invulnerable, which is what all of those champions are able to do. Nothing shuts down an assassin like a timely invulnerability spell, but you just have to be careful, because the burst potential of an assassin is so incredibly high now that it's still possible for them to burst down a target before you personally can react or get in range to do anything about it. As well, we have the tanks that have abilities that scale off of armor and also abilities that give them armor. So stuff like Rammus, Taric, Malphite, etc. Assassins are going to be huge now and are likely to be extremely popular, and the most common place to play an AD assassin by far is in a solo lane, and it often results in a full attack damage team, or in a team with just one AP champion. So champions who can benefit from and more importantly want to just stack 6 armor items are going to have a great time, and although assassins have a lot more damage, to counter that a little bit, the last Whisper change means armor pen is a lot harder to come by, and being able to stack armor not only does an okay job of countering assassins, it's likely to counter entire team comps now, or almost the entire team comp, meaning that the champions that can do this get a little bit of a step up. As well, Randuin's Omen, Warden's Mail, and Sunfire Cape were buffed on this patch, so those champions can make great use of those items that have received a pretty solid improvement overall. Alright, next up, let's go over some of the major things to look out for in patch 6.3. There's no doubt that the Duskblade of Drakthar is going to be a seriously strong item in the state it's being released in on this patch, so we can expect a huge meta shift to start favoring AD champions. And so it's important to understand that an assassin's merit is based entirely on whether or not it can actually kill its target. If they do their job and assassinate someone, it's amazing and often wins an entire fight, and it's generally why assassins snowball like crazy. But if they fail to kill their target and can't do their job properly, they become almost useless. So you should be able to find a lot of success countering assassins in this meta if you personally don't want to play an assassin yourself. And because of this, I really do think we will see a lot of off-meta AD champions that have much more utility but maybe a little bit less damage rise up now, because if they fail to kill their target, they can still have somewhat of an impact due to their crowd control, so they're a little bit less vulnerable to counterplay overall. As well, the buffs to Xin Zhao were huge, probably the biggest direct buff on this patch, so we can expect to see him being played a lot more now in a variety of roles. So expect to see him, and the Alistar buff as well was something that shouldn't be underestimated. Similar to the Cassiopeia change on the last patch, making Alistar's combo much easier to land makes him a lot easier to play as well, and thus better overall, so potentially try him out if you had trouble with him before, or be ready to play against him a bit more. As well, there was a buff to the 2nd and 4th dragon stacks, so potentially consider prioritizing dragon a bit more and trying to take it. And that's just about it. Here are some of my favorite comments from a previous video where I asked what you guys hope to get from the Hextech crafting system. For a chance to be featured in a future video, leave a comment about what your favorite change in patch 6.3 is. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.